The film unfolds at a lively party, with Cole navigating the crowd in search of his brother, Duckett. Cole stumbles upon Duckett locked in a room, shirtless and muttering to himself. He bursts through the door, rescuing his brother just in time to prevent a chilling incident. Cole reprimands the partygoers who were filming the bizarre scene on their phones, demanding they stop before Duckett's violent outburst. However, Duckett ultimately flees outside and inflicts a gruesome injury on himself, leaving the partygoers horrified. Meanwhile, Mia, a 17-year-old girl, grapples with the second anniversary of her mother Ria's death, which she believes was due to an accidental overdose. She lives with her father Mar, with their communication strained since the tragedy. Mia spends most of her time with her best friend Jade and Jade's younger brother, Riley, as well as their mother Sue. One evening, while picking up Riley from a hangout, Mia and her brother stumble upon an injured kangaroo in the middle of the road. The creature's anguished moans prompt Riley to suggest ending its suffering. Mia attempts to run over the kangaroo but finds herself unable to do so, choosing to drive around it instead. Jade persuades Mia to attend a party, mainly because her boyfriend, Daniel, will be there. Riley joins them in sneaking out. The party is hosted by Joss and Haley, featuring an eerie game involving an embalmed hand covered in inscriptions. The objective is to hold the hand to summon spirits. Mia volunteers, and as she follows Haley's instructions, she encounters an unsettling old man's spirit. Initially terrified, Mia regains her composure and engages with a grotesque woman's spirit. However, during the encounter, Mia becomes possessed, adopting a menacing tone as she threatens Riley before the hand is wrested from her grasp. The group plays the game once more at Jade's house while Sue is away. The older teens participate, experiencing encounters with the undead. At one point, Daniel becomes possessed and unwittingly makes advances on Jade and Riley's dog. Despite initial objections, Riley insists on participating, and the others reluctantly agree, limiting the session to less than a minute. Riley becomes possessed by what sounds like Ria's spirit, conveying her longing for Mia. As the time limit passes, Mia wishes to continue the conversation, but Riley begins self-destructive behavior, smashing his head against the table and almost gouging out his eye. Jade intervenes, preventing a fatal outcome before Riley is rushed to the hospital. When Mia attempts to visit Riley at the hospital, both Jade and Sue blame her for the incident and turn her away. She grows closer to Daniel, with whom she has a crush and had a previous peculiar encounter. One night, Daniel stays over, and Mia has a surreal experience witnessing the spirit of an old woman seemingly sucking on Daniel's foot. In her effort to wake him up, Mia realizes that she's the one performing this strange act, to Daniel's horror. Determined to communicate with Ria's spirit, Mia claims the hand for herself and arranges a candlelit seance. She learns that Ria's death was not an accident and is told that her mother would never want to leave her daughter. Ria informs Mia that Riley is suffering and needs help. Meanwhile, Jade attempts to assist Riley at the hospital, but he remains possessed and attacks her before medical staff subdue him. Mia joins Daniel, Haley, and Joss as they search for Cole, who they blame for introducing Duckett to the hand. Cole informs them that the longer the spirits remain within Riley, the weaker they become, advising them to wait it out. Mia concocts a plan to complete the game, suspecting they neglected to extinguish the candle. She and Jade return to the hospital to attempt to repossess Riley, but their efforts prove futile. Mia returns alone and encounters the spirit of a little girl who reveals that Riley is tormented by numerous malevolent spirits. Back home, Max approaches Mia and attempts to confess the truth about Ria's death, presenting her with a suicide note that confirms the death was not an accident. Mia, distraught, sees Ria's spirit, insisting that Max fabricated the note as a lie. In the midst of her turmoil, Mia is attacked by what appears to be Max, though it's the malevolent spirits tormenting her. Max arrives to find Mia struggling against these spirits, and as she attempts to defend herself, she inadvertently stabs her father in the neck with scissors. Mia tricks Jade into leaving the hospital and heading to her house, while Mia returns to the hospital to meet with Sue. Sue absolves Mia of any blame for Riley's condition and allows her to be alone with him. Mia contemplates ending Riley's suffering with a pair of scissors but can't bring herself to do it. She wheels Riley out of the hospital in a wheelchair just as Jade discovers Max injured and realizes Mia's intentions. Mia envisions Riley as a decaying spirit and, under the influence of Ria's spirit, contemplates pushing him into oncoming traffic. Jade intervenes, pushing Mia into traffic instead, causing her to be struck by a car. Mia awakens, unaware that she is now deceased. She finds herself in a hospital, where Riley has made a full recovery, and leaves with Jade and Sue. Max appears to have healed from his wounds, but as Mia attempts to follow them, she discovers that nobody can hear her as the lights in the hospital begin to fade. She then spots a dim light and reaches out to grab a hand, finding herself facing a man in another country playing the Talk to Me game, becoming a part of it herself.